Hi everyone. The Weihrauch hw97 yet again, I bet you're saying. But after this the little yant I'm doing, is there such a word as a yant? I'm not sure. Thanks to my subscribers, long term, and the new ones I've acquired over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Thanks for stopping by and looking at the channel first of all. This gun, the hw97, the stainless, or as I've been informed on the forums, the nickel plated one with the black stock that one day I intend to change for either a custom made one or a standard Weihrauch blue, well, laminated one if I can get hold of one in the future. It is comfortable to use with a thumb hole. I find it comfortable, not everybody's cup of tea. But getting on to the video. This video, the reason for this video is because I recently fitted a TBT drop in kit to the gun, as I had a slight problem where I cocked the gun and as I pulled the lever down it felt a bit gritty. So I thought something's going wrong here. It turned out only to be a bit of rust off one of the washers, or weights as it's called, which is in the front end of the piston. There is 3 little what looked like washers. One of them was going slightly rusty around the outside. I didn't know that at the time. I thought possibly the spring could have broken. It could have been numerous faults. So the gun had to be took to pieces. Hence, while I was there, I thought I'd buy a new Maxi Pro TBT drop in kit, which I think was about £69 delivered to my door. So not a bad price. So I took it to pieces. I didn't film any of that because there's loads of good videos, far better than what I could do on YouTube, explaining how you take the gun to pieces and put it back together and what you do. But basically I took it to pieces with my mate Dan, who's not here today, but we're on lockdown. And I removed the 3 weights and a very small O-ring which holds them into the piston. And in the paperwork provided, or a video I watched, I think is Nick, who makes the videos regarding the TBT drop-in kits, not to use the weights, so I left those out. Slightly polished the piston. I didn't get it to a mirror finish, but I did use sandpaper on it in a drill bit, and then I used Solvo water sol. Got any marks out of it? It wasn't that badly marked. It was just looked a bit dull. So I got it slightly shiny. Put it all together as the instructions recommended. Put a little bit of grease on various parts where the instructions recommended. I didn't go mad with it. And then I chroned the gun, which is in my previous video. And it was, I think, if my memory serves me right, it was about 11.4, 11.5. With the heaviest pellets that I've got, the SMK ones, in fact it was 13.1 foot-pounds, which obviously was a bit too much. But since using the gun, I thought I'd chrono it again, and I did chrono it, and I've spent 4 hours editing the videos that I put together. I shot 5 of one brand of pellet through it, and I shot 5 of another brand and 5 of another, and I tried to cut out as much as I could so it wasn't a boring video. But when I finished, I still considered it was a boring video. So I will put a short piece of footage at the end of this video to show the chrono figures, which are not that impressive, to be quite honest. It's not very consistent, this gun, with that drop-in kit. I don't know if it's something that I've done wrong. I've thought back and looked back to what I did with the gun, and I did everything as per instructions. You know, I fitted it exactly as the instructions said. Maybe it would have been a good thing to video it, you know, to video it, because I'd have some evidence or something to look back on. But it cocks lovely, and when you see the film coming up in a moment, I went to my daughter's garden because I have shot this gun in my garden, but it's only 50 feet, well 48 feet to be exact, distance from my target. Now, I'm no expert with guns, and I'm learning still as I'm going along, and I've learnt an awful lot over the last probably year and a half since I got back into shooting. I've learnt that much from other people on YouTube, which really people who do know what they're talking about. As I learnt myself with the Webley gas ram that my son has got at the moment. That was a terrible, apart from having a terrible trigger, it was using good quality, what people regarded as the best pellets, H&N, JSB, Air Arms, etc, etc. It shot terribly. It wouldn't do any groups, and it was all over the place. If you look back on my videos, you'll see it somewhere. It was all over the place, and just by chance I happened to shoot some Gamo pellets through it, which weren't that expensive. I think it was £7 a tin. The gun was like a laser beam. Honestly, it transformed the gun that much. It was like, and I haven't got any evidence of what I'm going to tell you. I have got a photograph somewhere. 50 feet away, and there is an element of luck involved in this because it's only one shot. When I discovered about these pellets, I was shooting my gun one day and a blue bottle fly landed on the target. Now, I don't shoot anything living normally, but a fly or a wasp I would definitely shoot. I don't shoot rabbits, I've got no need to. But all I shoot is targets. But a fly landed on the target anyway, and I got my crosshairs on it, shot it, and all what was left was a hole and a little circle of blood and bits. Now that was probably fluke. It was a lot of things, and right, if I could do it 5 times on the trot, then obviously it would mean I'm a fantastic shot and the gun was fantastic. But from what I gathered from using the gun with those pellets, it was as accurate as any gun I've ever shot. It was really was, once you got used to the terrible trigger. But getting back to this gun, the consistency over the Chronie is not good. You shoot 5 shots, and from its highest to its lowest reading, feet per second, there was a spread on one set of pellets. I can't remember which ones they were, whether it was a JSB, the Air Arms, it doesn't matter. The point is, it was 58 feet per second's difference in the speed the pellet was travelling at in just 5 shots. And one of the shots was 9.5 foot-pounds and the other was 11.2 foot-pounds. Somewhere around the 10.5 to 11.5 I would have been more than happy with, if it was consistent. Then I shot another 5 pellets and it worked out to be 62. The spread was 62 FPS, which is not very good. And I'm no genius on this and I don't know the answer, but I would imagine if you haven't got a consistent foot per second, it's going to affect your accuracy. So what you shoot your gun, it's 9.5 foot-pounds, and your scope 0 to a gun that's shooting 11.5 foot-pounds. It's the way my mind works. It's saying that the pellet will drop. So I did this over 40 shots, and if I did a string of 10 shots or 5 or 10 or 5, and this is what I did. The gun's been very inconsistent. I don't know why, but what I have worked out is if you cock the gun, put the pellet in, aim and shoot, within 15 seconds it's somewhere near the 11 foot-pounds. On the other hand, if you cock the gun, put a pellet in and then flap around with your aim for, I don't know, 25 seconds, then the power goes down. It's like while the spring is compressed, it sort of forgets it's a spring and doesn't come back to its original sort of power and strength. That's the only way I can get my head around it. But nevertheless, the video what follows is at my daughter's garden, and she's fortunate to have a very long garden. I think it's about 150 feet long, so 50 yards. And I shot the gun with Air Arms Diablo and GSB Exacts. But on the very last target I did the first lot was off camera, and I did very well. I was quite impressed. The green section of the target is the same size as a 2p piece, which I believe is 25.8 millimeters, so 26 millimeters a 2p piece, and they were 80 feet. Which is I think 26.6 yards. So the first lot off camera I was impressed with, but I took my time and relaxed, took my time. Then when I set up the camera, you'll see what happened, and then I did another one at that distance. You'll see what happened in the video, and then I did the last lot at 105 feet. Now looking back on the video, I wished I'd have used both pellets and 2 different targets instead of just shooting it with 1 lot of pellets, because I wasn't that impressed, to be fair. Not impressed with that at all. To the point where when the conditions are right and it's not really windy and miserable, I'm going to go back there with my MPO2 Kral and my PCP, and I'm almost certain, sat here now, that gun is going to shoot a lot better than this Weihrauch. I could almost put money on it, on that, sure. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. We'll go on to the video of me shooting targets, which I know is a bit boring, but it gives me a chance to shoot at a bit of distance with this gun. And I didn't expect any good results from it, according to what the Chrono figures produced. And I'll put a small clip of, I don't know, 5 shots. I'll get the shortest video I can find at the end of this video to show you its inconsistency. But yeah, so I'm going to repeat this video using my Kral MPO2, and like I said, I'd be willing to put money on it that it will shoot better than this. Now there's a lot of things in the equation. Me is the first thing. It could be argued I'll shoot that gun better than this one, etc, etc. I know there's a lot of variables involved. And on the first target of the video, it's not to try and show off, I balanced a pellet on top of the turret, on top of my telescopic scope, to see if the recoil had changed over the time of shooting it, because it's had about 150 pellets through it now. When I started doing my Chrono with it, it had about 110, somewhere around there. So I considered that it was enough shots to bed the spring and everything in. But I'm going to stick with the gun. I'm not going to bother taking it to pieces and put the old spring in and all that, because the spring what's in it now and the guides were made to be a tight fit in that spring. They're not a tight fit in my old spring, so it'd be pointless. It'd be pointless. I haven't achieved anything if I put all the old stuff back in it. I'd have straight away loads of, well, a lot more recoil. Yeah, I'll be making a step backwards. So in the future, after Christmas has gone, I plan to, I don't know, I've heard a few names knocking about of people who make parts for these guns, and I thought about having a lightened glided piston, a matching compression tube, Nick Short, or is it Nick Short? I've got about 4 names wrote down of different people who tune anyway and make custom parts for these guns. So that's going to be my next step. It's quite expensive, so I'm going to get past Christmas first, and that will be the next thing I do. Following the various bits and bobs of chronographing the gun with inconsistent type readings. So I've come to my daughter's and I've set a target out at 80 feet. I've got the sun directly in front of my eyes. It's pretty difficult, to be honest, not making any excuses. And I've just done about 8 shots off camera to reset my zero on the scope, but fortunately I haven't had to touch anything. But so there's the measure, and it works out to be dead on 80 feet. I didn't measure it in meters, I measured it in feet. Dead on 80 meters to where my target is, and I'll zoom into the target. I'll try and keep the camera as steady as possible. It's 80 feet from the tip of the gun. There's the target. Camera's fully zoomed in at that. That's as steady as I can hold it, but I'll get the target out and I'll put a fresh one in. Just wanted to give you, and I'm standing, by the way, I'm not sitting, and I'm using that bag there to rest my gun on. And there's a target. So I'll bring the target down, put a fresh one in, and see what we've done off camera before I start. So there's 7 shots at 80 feet with JSB pellets. I will do 2 more targets, one with JSB 10 shots and then one with air arms fields at 10 shots also. And to give you an idea, I haven't brought any money. I haven't got any money in my pocket. There's my thumbnail as a reference. and that is about the bullseye there with the number 6 is about the same size as a 177 pallet, so I'm pretty pleased with that for 80 feet. Calm day, no wind whatsoever, and a bit nippy. Well, 8 degrees Celsius, and it's Sunday, I believe it's the 22nd today. We're in lockdown, but there you go. So I'll put a fresh target in and start the filming. Right, camera's in position out of the sunlight, which is very strong, and I'm going to do 10 shots JSB. These are the film ones. I just did very well off camera, but let's see if I can sort of repeat it on camera. 80 feet from where I'm shooting, and right, move the camera across a little bit. No wind, brilliant conditions, so I've got no excuses for that apart from the sunlight directly in front of me, but we'll give it a go. Right, this one's the air arms. 10 shots. Right, the next target, I've opened the, my daughter's fortunate enough to have a very long garden, and so I've opened the gate, I've measured it out, that's 105 feet now, that, whatever it is in metres, I haven't got a clue, but I've got my real, my tape reel measure with me, on my, whatever you call it, and that's 105 feet, just to show you an idea. I've got the camera mounted on a tripod, so it should be fairly steady. But this one's going to be 105 feet. I don't know how I'm going to fare, but I'm going to use the JSPs. Until I get home and scrutinise the targets, I'm not actually decided which are the better pellets for this gun. But that's the target anyway. I'm going to position the camera on that there. I've got to work out what my holdover is. I'm not going to adjust the zero on the gun till we get back in action and back down the shooting range. But the sun's just to the right at the 2 o'clock position on a clock face. It was directly 12 o'clock when I started, so I shall put a target in there, put the camera next to it, and see how we go at the 105 feet, whatever that is in yards or metres. I'll have to work it out. Right, hopefully I'll get the holdover right pretty quickly, so the first couple of shots will be way off the mark of the centre, because I've got to work out, hopefully 1 mil dot will do it, but we'll see. And this is with JSP 10 shots hopefully, so if my battery lasts on my camera, 10 shots, no wind, lovely calm day, see what happens. Well, this is a long range one, 105 feet. You'll never see it with this camera, that's for sure. For the hw97, I measured the distance, as you can see. JSP. Right, this is a JSB Exacts. I've just weighed. So that's those. Now I'll do 5 shots with another pellet. Set it all up.